Chapter 141 The Old Taoist Priest Arrives. Part 3. While Xiandao was advancing on the mountain peak of the Inheritance Hall, within the Wanlong Empire, Long Mishu was also beginning to ascend the throne and become emperor. The first female emperor in the history of the desolate land. This unprecedented event sparked widespread discussion, commentary, and endless debate. The Confucian scholars cursed and swore as if Long Mishu had dug up their ancestral graves. Even if the contemporary literary sage and the leader of the Confucian school stood up and openly supported Long Mishu, it would only suppress the momentum. Many people were still so angry that they cursed. Long Mishu knew all this, but she didn't take it to heart. No matter how harshly the Confucian scholar cursed her, as long as she controlled the national army and the national government, no matter how harshly he cursed her now, wouldn't he still have to serve her in the end? By launching the imperial examination system and selecting talented individuals, Long Mishu quickly released a series of policies, effectively silencing the Confucian scholars. Compared to the Confucian scholars' harsh criticism, Long Mishu was more worried about the royal family's unrest. For this reason, she raised her butcher's knife and slaughtered all the scoundrels among the royal family members. She killed all members of the royal family who disobeyed her, those who were utterly wicked, those who harmed the people, and those who forced women into prostitution. This massacre shocked the court and the public. No one expected that Long Mishu's first act after taking power would be to strike directly at the royal family. Across the entire realm, hundreds of thousands of members of the royal family were killed, and the confiscated property was equivalent to 10 years' worth of taxes from the Wanlong Empire, shocking the entire court. This single stroke left all the officials speechless. With numerous crimes and irrefutable evidence, then kill. Long Mishu's second blade was aimed at the officials and their offspring and relatives. Those who commit crimes, embezzle, neglect their duties, or enrich themselves for personal gain, and whose circumstances are serious, shall be executed without mercy. With the army in hand, the ancestors on Qianlong Mountain dared not interfere. Long Mishu forcefully ordered the army to take over Shangjing and began to issue orders directly. For a time, the entire court was filled with fear, and everyone tried to protect themselves and distance themselves from others. These two moves cleaned up the entire country and filled Long Mishu's treasury, providing decades of additional tax revenue. This allowed her to implement her various policies smoothly. The third act, Long Mishu, used his ascension to the throne as a pretext to grant a general amnesty, release the suffering people from prison, and investigate wrongful convictions, etc. This series of policies allowed Long Mishu to completely control the Wanlong Empire. The world's opinion of her instantly reversed, turning into "Long live the Empress." Long Mishu also received praise from all the civil and military officials, and his foundation was solid. Of course, some people worry that Long Mishu will marry another man, have children, inherit the throne, change the royal family, and the Wanlong Empire will no longer belong to the royal family. In response, Long Mishu issued a decree stating that he would not marry during his reign and that after abdicating, he would choose a qualified successor from the imperial clan to succeed him, thus closing the loophole. In secret, Long Mishu hugged his beloved sister and said comfortably, "With this imperial decree, I no longer need to worry about the marriage contract, and I can stay with my beloved sister forever." Sister Min was still in a daze and said, "It's only been a short time, and you've already become an empress. It's unbelievable." Long Mishu lay comfortably in his good sister's arms and said, "I told you, the throne of the Wanlong Empire will definitely be mine. Now that you've ascended the throne as empress, I'll be your shadow," Sister Min whispered. "All right. I'll hand over all my secret guards to my good sister." Long Mishu kissed her sister Min, feeling relieved at that moment. "I will help you stabilize the country," Sister Min said firmly. With Long Mishu on the right track and officially in control of the Wanlong Empire, everything is thriving. Meanwhile, after returning to his cave, the old Taoist priest spent his days either cultivating or studying the blood-red pocket watch. Amidst verdant hills and clear waters, drifting white clouds, a gentle breeze rustling the willows, and a bright, clear sun, an old Taoist priest leisurely reclines in a rocking chair, holding a blood-red pocket watch in his hand, his eyes fixed intently on it. What's so magical about this thing? the old Taoist priest muttered. He studied it for a while, but made no discoveries. The pocket watch wasn't a magic weapon, but the old Taoist priest wanted to take it apart. However, he discovered that he couldn't open it unless he broke it. But the pocket watch kept giving the old Taoist priest the wrong feeling. If you crush it, you can enter a mysterious place and have your wish fulfilled. My wish is, of course, to ascend to heaven, but no one in this desolate land can help me fulfill this wish. You still want to help me? The old Taoist scoffed at this. He simply didn't believe it. Click. The next second, the old Taoist priest crushed the blood-red pocket watch. His body slowly dissipated and disappeared into the air, leaving the old Taoist priest in shock. I've tested it several times with my innate divine calculation, and there's no danger. Before crushing the pocket watch, the old Taoist priest devoutly calculated it 9 times. 9 times, all good fortune. Not a single danger. That's why he crushed the pocket watch. But now, watching his body slowly dissipate, the old Taoist priest is still worried. Where are we going? The old Taoist priest asked in surprise. When the fog cleared, Xiandao saw the third tomb. The tomb of the hermit Taoist. This was an old Taoist priest named the Hermit of the Mountains. Xiandao remembered that it was also 30,000 years ago that there was a peerless genius of Taoism who became an immortal in the 9 heavens and 10 earths and entered the immortal realm. Then he came down and said that the immortal realm was not as wonderful as he had imagined. He found it boring to stay there, so he came down and never went back up. This person is the Hermit Taoist. There is only this one sentence about the Hermit Taoist, and everyone thought he had gone into seclusion. Some people even say that he might still be alive today. After all, it's not impossible for an immortal to live for 30,000 years. Xiandao never expected that he would be buried here. Just as Xiandao was about to offer sacrifices, Xiaoqi's voice rang out. Master, we have a guest. Xiandao had no choice but to stop his worship, saying regretfully, I can only come to worship you again next time and try to comprehend your great Tao. All right, I'll be waiting for you. A hearty laugh answered Xiandao, coming from the remnant soul of the Hermit of the Mountain. Xiandao turned and disappeared, reappearing in the trading hall. What happened to your chest? Xiaoqi pointed and asked. Blood still stained Xiandao's heart, and 2 sword marks were clearly visible. Xiandao replied, It's nothing, I just died twice. Xiaoqi tilted her head and looked at him. Dying twice is something else. Xiandao felt the pain had subsided. The 2 wounds had been hurting, but when he touched them, they healed. In the Heaven and Earth Bank, Xiandao was invincible. He could be injured, but he would never die. Who is the guest? Xiandao asked in surprise. An acquaintance of yours. Xiaoqi smiled slightly. Another acquaintance. Xiandao asked in surprise. Xiaoqi nodded. Chapter 142A 20-Year Employee Contract. Part 4. Inside the trading hall, Xiandao saw the newcomer. An old Taoist priest with a refined and dignified air and a ruddy complexion. Xiandao glanced at the old Taoist's hands with a strange look. Yes, it's perfectly intact. Xiandao knew that he had been tricked. The face hidden behind the mask became quite interesting. Xiandao looked at the old Taoist priest, eager to see what expression the old Taoist priest would have when he saw him. What expression is that? It feels like I ate shit. The old Taoist priest never expected that the person behind that blood-red pocket watch was actually the boundary breaker they had gone to hunt down before. Is there anything more outrageous than this? Having just escaped using only one arm, the old Taoist priest now looked at his perfectly intact hands and felt a little embarrassed. I want to leave now, is that all right? The old Taoist priest muttered. Please sit down, Xiandao said calmly, ignoring him. The old Taoist priest reluctantly sat down opposite Xiandao. Guest, what wish do you wish to fulfill upon entering the Heaven and Earth Money House? Xiandao asked casually, as if nothing had happened before. I have no wishes, the old Taoist priest said after a moment's hesitation. Very well, I will now send you out and never entertain you again. You will also forget the pocket watch and everything here, Xiandao said calmly, without trying to persuade him. The old Taoist priest was taken aback, not expecting it to be so simple. Is that all? Shall I leave then? The old Taoist priest stood up and asked. Xiandao nodded and gestured, saying, The gate is over there, let's go out. The old Taoist priest walked hesitantly toward the gate, turning back every 3 steps, wondering if Xiandao would try to persuade him to stay. If Xiandao tries to persuade him to stay, he will not. Xiandao didn't even look at him, stood up, and prepared to leave. Very few people enter the heaven and earth money shop, do no transactions, and then leave. Because no one would enter the heaven and earth money shop without any desire. Even a blood-red pocket watch wouldn't seek out someone like that. The old Taoist priest walked to the door, but Xiandao still didn't try to stop him. He turned around and saw that Xiandao was already preparing to leave, and he immediately became anxious. Sigh, let me find out more. The old Taoist priest turned back and plopped down in a chair. Seeing this, Xiandao also sat down and calmly looked at the old Taoist priest. Because he was wearing a dark gold mask, the old Taoist priest had a psychological aversion to it and was a little scared. He said, I want to know, can you help me withstand the heavenly tribulation? Xiandao immediately thought of his cultivation level. The old Taoist priest was very powerful. In the entire desolate ancient land, apart from the great sea sacred turtle, he was the most powerful. More importantly, he is patient and has an extremely long lifespan, so once he ascends to heaven, the heavenly tribulation will be terrifying. Of course. Xiandao smiled confidently. My tribulation is terrifying, the old Taoist priest reminded Xiandao. Xiandao nodded. Of course he knew. But so what? The old Taoist priest frowned and asked, What's your plan? Isn't your goal to leave the desolate ancient land and continue your cultivation in a higher world? Xiandao asked. The old Taoist nodded and said helplessly, When I first broke through, I didn't understand and didn't ascend immediately. By the time my cultivation level was higher and higher, and I thought about ascending, the heavenly tribulation had already accumulated to an overwhelming degree. Xiandao asked, I can solve your heavenly tribulation problem, but what can you give me in return? The old Taoist priest fell silent. Trade has always been a give-and-take transaction, where neither party loses out. So, if I help you resolve your heavenly tribulation, what reward can you offer me? Xiandao said calmly. The old Taoist priest frowned and pondered deeply. What treasures does he have? The divine energy? It has already been sprinkled all over the flowers, grass, and trees. The old Taoist priest only possessed a few magical treasures, all of which had been nurtured for over 10,000 years and were connected by aura. He could not take them out. What else does he have? The old Taoist priest thought about it carefully, but still had no clue. He asked Xiandao, Then what do you think I should give him as compensation? Xiandao pointed. He said firmly, You. The old Taoist priest immediately took a step back, his face hardening, and said, This old Taoist priest is over 10,000 years old this year. He is old and frail, and can no longer lift the spear. He is no longer able to do it. Besides, your tastes are a bit heavy. It's not easy for an old Taoist like you to do such a thing. The old Taoist looked at Xian with admiration. Xiandao's face darkened. Fortunately, he was wearing a mask, otherwise his expression would have been terrible. If it were 5,000 years ago, I could barely accept it. But now, I need to think for a long time before I can give you an answer. The old Taoist reached out and touched his buttocks, feeling that this place might suffer. Xiao Qi, who was standing to the side, couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. Xiandao suddenly stood up and said angrily, Your thinking is seriously flawed. Xiao Qi, give him a 20-year employee contract and let him think about it himself. After saying this, Xiandao walked straight out of the trading hall, quite annoyed by the old Taoist priest. The old Taoist priest watched as Xiandao stormed off, muttering to himself, Did I misunderstand? It was clearly you who expressed yourself incorrectly, wasn't it? Xiao Qi handed a contract to the old Taoist priest. What is this? The old Taoist priest asked in surprise. A 20-year employee contract, see for yourself, Xiao Qi said softly, then walked out and caught up with Xiandao. Outside the trading hall, Xiandao stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the distant mountains, all of which were sealed except for 3 that were unsealed. Surrounded by clouds and mist, the scenery was beautiful. Even through the barrier, Xiandao could see the beautiful scene in the distance. If the restrictions were lifted, how wonderful the heaven and earth bank would be. Xiandao couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. Enjoying the scenery? Xiao Qi came out and moved closer to Xiandao. The 2 figures, one tall and one short, stood side by side, looking at the beautiful scenery outside. How is he? Xiandao asked. I'm looking at the contract, Xiao Qi said. You value him a lot. He is an outlier among all the cultivators I have seen in the entire desolate ancient land, and even so far, Xiandao said quietly, without any trace of the anger he had shown earlier. Heretical. Xiao Qi looked at Xiandao in confusion. This person's lifespan is at least 50,000 years, Xiandao said softly. Impossible. He's only at the Hengsha realm, at most 15,000 years old. Xiao Qi shook his head. Xiandao said softly, I also think it's impossible, but that's the truth. With the current rate of progress of the cultivation technique he's practicing, after leaving the desolate ancient land, he will obtain a large amount of spiritual energy and resources, and his lifespan will continue to be extended. That's strange. What kind of cultivation technique does he practice? Xiao Qi frowned. The everlasting spring immortal technique. Xiandao exclaimed. This technique is just the most basic of the basics, right? Xiao Qi exclaimed in amazement. How could the old Taoist have cultivated to this level with just the most basic of the basics? Is it a treasure? Xiandao asked. Xiao Qi nodded and said, It really is a treasure. So, my anger just now was to put some pressure on him. Once he signs, this treasure will be mine. After 20 years, he definitely won't want to leave my heaven and earth bank, Xiandao said firmly. Chapter 143 The Old Taoist Priest Signs. Part 5. Xiandao and Xiao Qi admired the beautiful scenery for a while before entering the trading hall. The old Taoist priest was looking at the contract, motionless for a long time. Xiandao sat in his seat, looked at him, and asked, What's your decision? The old Taoist priest looked at Xiandao seriously and said, If I sell you 20 years of my life, you won't expect me to go around killing people, will you? Xiandao looked at the old Taoist priest strangely. Why was a cultivator so afraid of killing? Having cultivated for so long, I've killed fewer than 2 people. They weren't the most heinous criminals I could kill. If you ask me to go around killing people, I'll be in a difficult position, the old Taoist priest said. Xiandao exclaimed in surprise. The path of cultivation can be summed up in one word: struggle. If you hadn't killed anyone, how would you have gotten to where you are today? Xiandao asked with great interest. He knew the old Taoist was practicing the everlasting spring immortal technique, but even with that technique, it was impossible to kill less than 10 people in 10,000 years. On the path of cultivation, even if you don't cause trouble for others, others will cause trouble for you, and you will definitely be forced to take action. The old Taoist priest smiled and said, Cultivation requires struggle, and everyone in the world is struggling, but I, this old Taoist priest, have chosen the path of yielding. Let him go. Xiandao looked at him in confusion, when suddenly a terrifying thought popped into his mind. Could this old Taoist priest be Voldemort? The old Taoist priest smiled slightly and said, To borrow a famous saying from a high monk, how should one deal with people who slander me, deceive me, insult me, laugh at me, belittle me, despise me, hate me, or cheat me? Xiandao was now certain. This was indeed an old Voldemort. Just tolerate him, let him be, let him do as he pleases, avoid him, be patient with him, respect him, ignore him, Wait a few more years, and you'll see how he becomes. The old Taoist priest answered himself. Li Xiandao asked, then how many years do you usually visit him? The old Taoist priest thought about it carefully and said, in the past 10,000 years, I have seen countless people, living in glory and living a carefree life, fighting and struggling, and in the end, they all return to the earth as a handful of yellow earth, and no one remembers their stories. Those who have humiliated me in the past 10,000 years are all dead, and those I have avoided are also dead. I am still alive, and I can live for a long time. These 20 years are nothing to me, just a blink of an eye. If you can really take me out and solve the problem of the heavenly tribulation, I am willing to sign, the old Taoist said earnestly. My only request is that you don't make me kill more people. I don't like it, the old Taoist priest pleaded. Li Xiandao looked at him and asked, is it that you no longer like killing, or that you no longer like putting yourself in danger? I don't like any of them. What I like most is to live my life quietly, cultivate my own path, and study my own methods. No matter how the world changes or how time turns, I will still be myself, the old Taoist said firmly. Da. Li Xiandao tapped the table with his long, slender fingers, making a crisp sound that echoed around him. He looked at the old Taoist priest with absolute certainty that this was an ultimate Voldemort. Moreover, he was the kind of Voldemort who didn't have much offensive power. Perhaps he has great strength, but he doesn't seem to want to make a move. He just wants to wear down his enemy over time. As time goes by, he will become stronger and stronger, and the enemy will die. Over the past 10,000 years, countless enemies have come and gone, and the old Taoist priest has witnessed many things. So now, he has become accustomed to this way of handling things. I won't hit you. I'll stick with you. Then, when you can't outlast me, I'll go to your grave and pour you a glass of wine. The enemy may have long forgotten the old Taoist priest, but it's enough that the old Taoist priest remembers. I promise you, I won't let you kill more people. I will only let you carry out missions. If you can avoid killing people, then don't. Just complete my mission. Li Xiandao nodded. The old Taoist priest said with satisfaction, then I can sign. Swish. Swish. The old Taoist priest wrote his name neatly and succinctly, and Li Xiandao frowned upon seeing it. Your name is Taoist Master? Li Xiandao asked. I have forgotten my own name. The old Taoist priest looked at Li Xiandao awkwardly. Li Xiandao frowned and said, then pressing your handprint is fine too. The old Taoist priest respectfully pressed his handprint. Li Xiandao was finally satisfied, put the contract away, and handed it to Xiao. So what do we do next? The old Taoist priest asked Li Xiandao. Go back now. We'll call you when we leave the desolate ancient land after a while. You won't need to undergo tribulation to leave then, Li Xiandao said, waving his hand. You're going back already? The old Taoist priest asked in surprise. Yes, we will probably stay in the desolate land for a while, but not for long, so just wait patiently. Li Xiandao nodded. Then I'll go back. The old Taoist priest felt like he had been tricked. This was too easy. Li Xiandao and Xiao watched him leave. A mere heavenly tribulation would cause a master at the Hengsha realm to worry? Xiao was puzzled. Li Xiandao smiled and said, if he goes all out, even if he gets injured, he can get through it. But unfortunately, he lived a life without storms or battles, extremely uneventful. He had no desire to fight, nor the determination to fight to the death. When faced with a situation, his first thought was, I will outlive him. As long as I live long enough and escape quickly enough, disaster will not be able to catch me. Li Xiandao understood the old Taoist's mentality very well. Coward. Or perhaps a more conservative approach. Too cautious. He probably overreacted. But there's nothing he can do. He's always been like this, and even now with all his skills, he rarely uses them. Anyway, I can survive, and you definitely won't outlive me. So let you be smug for now. When you kick the bucket, I'll still be here. With a personality like that, he probably won't be of much help to us, Xiaoqi said, frowning. She had previously thought the old Taoist priest was a treasure, but now it seemed he was just a big-faced fool. Li Xiandao shook his head and said, "Don't you think he's interesting?" "What's so interesting?" Xiaoqi frowned as she looked at Li Xiandao. "A man who has lived a life of hiding and humiliation has joined my heaven and earth bank. He is clearly the most powerful person besides me, yet he lives more cautiously than anyone else. This is not hiding and humiliation, but rather being completely lost in his own personality." Li Xiandao smiled slightly. "What if I gave him a very dangerous person, a very cruel mission, and he had to go? What would he do?" Li Xiandao's lips curled up. He was somewhat curious to see the old Taoist change himself. Xiaoqi's brows relaxed, and she nodded, saying, "What you said makes some sense. Let's wait and see." Li Xiandao took a step forward, intending to go to the inheritance hall to chat with those dead ghosts, when the monk Tianxin's puzzled voice came. "Master, you asked us to collect debts. In the past few days, I have completely cleared up the debts on my hands, including Lucifer's. Only the moon angel Ursula has encountered a tricky contract." Monk Tianxin communicated with Li Xiandao. "What's the troublesome matter?" Li Xiandao asked. "The contract's host is dead, so we can't get the breach of contract compensation," the mature voice of the moon angel Ursula rang out. Li Xiandao looked at Xiaoqi. "Impossible. The contract will automatically expire if the host dies." Xiaoqi shook her head firmly. Chapter 144 The Icefield Demonic Gate, Part 6. Xiaoqi's words prompted Li Xiandao to ask the moon angel Ursula seriously, "Are you sure the person who signed the contract is dead?" The voice of the moon angel Ursula came through. "I'll confirm it myself, and I'll have Lucifer and monk Tianxin confirm it too. They all believe she is dead." Xiaoqi's expression turned serious as she stared at Li Xiandao, her face devoid of any smile. "I still stand by my opinion. The Heaven and Earth Bank won't make a mistake, especially since this is the desolate ancient land, where the general strength is low. It would be too outrageous for them to make a mistake here." Li Xiandao nodded. He chose to believe Xiaoqi. Of course, it wasn't that he didn't trust the three monks, Tianxin and the other two. After all three had been examined and confirmed to be dead, which indicated a serious problem. Li Xiandao said to the moon angels, "You wait for me where you are. I'll be right there to take a closer look." "Yes, master." The moon angel Ursula ended the call. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Xiaoqi pondered carefully and said, "When you investigate, be careful. There's definitely something wrong here, and it's 100% on that host. The moon angels are all on the same side, so there's no way they could have any problems. The most problematic person is the one who signed the contract." Li Xiandao nodded and smiled. "Why are you so serious?" "I believe you." Xiaoqi rolled her eyes at Li Xiandao and said, "This is my job. You give me all the contracts. If there are any problems, it's my fault." Li Xiandao shook his head and said, "This matter is not settled yet. Don't be nervous, I'll be right back." With a single step, Li Xiandao vanished, transforming into a sharp sword that cleaved the sky, heading towards the moon angel and the others. Boom! The sword energy ripped through the sky. The moment Li Xiandao left, the sky was perfectly calm. It wasn't until 10 seconds after he left that the air began to explode, torn apart, and huge waves appeared. As it sped along, waves of air rolled and surged, as if a game of chasing waves was unfolding in the sky. 10 minutes later, Li Xiandao arrived at the place where the moon angels and the others were. For Li Xiandao, these 10 minutes was already the fastest he could go so far, considering that traveling from the black soil across most of the desolate land to the icy and snowy region was a long journey. Boom! Li Xiandao descended with a surging wave of energy, like a sword aura that pierced the earth. When the sword aura dissipated, Li Xiandao's figure appeared in front of the three. The fallen angel Lucifer, the moon angel Ursula, and the monk Tianxin immediately said respectfully, "Greetings, master." Wearing a dark gold mask and dressed in purple robes, Li Xiandao asked, "What exactly happened?" The moon angel Ursula and the fallen angel Lucifer looked at monk Tianxin, hoping he would speak. Monk Tianxin said, "Master, this is what happened." Li Xiandao listened quietly. "There are 150 contracts, 50 for each of the three of us. We've been running around non-stop these past few days, visiting all over the desolate ancient land and all the major sects to collect debts and get all the breach of contract penalties back. The matter should have ended here. Lucifer and I finished first, and the moon angel also processed 49 contracts. Only this last contract had a problem," said monk Tianxin. "The contract's host is dead?" Li Xiandao asked. Monk Tianxin nodded and said, "That's right. At first, we also thought it was a fake death or a cover-up, but after we all checked the grave, we all agreed that the person was dead. That's why we reported to our master," monk Tianxin said solemnly. He also knew that if the host died, the contract would be void. But now that the host is dead, the contract is still in effect, which means that something must have gone wrong on one side. Li Xiandao frowned and said, "Take me to see this host's corpse." Lucifer and Ursula immediately took the lead, while monk Tianxin and Li Xiandao walked together. "How long has he been dead?" Li Xiandao asked. 50 years, said monk Tianxin. Li Xiandao asked in confusion. 50 years has passed. How much time has passed since the breach of contract period stipulated in the contract? Exactly 50 years. The monk Tianxin immediately said it. Clearly he also felt a little doubtful. In other words, she died the moment she broke the contract 50 years ago. For the past 50 years, it wasn't that she didn't pay, but rather that her death caused the breach of contract. Li Xiandao murmured. "It's possible, but there are many doubts." Monk Tianxin dared not draw any conclusions rashly. This concerns Xiao Qi. Monk Tianxin won't make any rash comments. What if he offends Xiao Qi and gets whispered in her ear, and Li Xiandao makes things difficult for him? What is she trading? Li Xiandao asked curiously. Since Xiao Qi had handled these 150 contracts, Li Xiandao hadn't even looked at them. 10 human immortal pills, once consumed, can instantly activate one's potential, grant a wisp of the Taoist essence of a human immortal, making one stronger and unleashing tremendous power, said monk Tianxin. "And what's the price?" Li Xiandao asked as he walked. "The price is that she must hand over her soul fire to the Heaven and Earth Bank, and then after her death, hand over her soul, including everything else, to the Heaven and Earth Bank," said monk Tianxin. "Have you collected her soul yet?" Li Xiandao asked. Having been dead for 50 years, even if a soul still exists, it would have long since dissipated and disappeared, monk Tianxin said, shaking his head. Li Xiandao frowned and asked, "Where is this person from?" "They are from this sect in the ice plains." Monk Tianxin pointed. A sect standing on a glacier came into view of Li Xiandao and the others. The Icefield Demon Gate. This is the name of the sect. It has several thousand disciples, making it a fairly large sect. The sect stood here, and the moon angel Ursula walked straight in through the gate without anyone stopping her, smoothly and helplessly. The moon angel gathered all the people from this sect together, killed a few of the bolder ones, and the rest cooperated perfectly, monk Tianxin said, somewhat embarrassed. Li Xiandao nodded and followed the moon angel Ursula inside. The Icefield Demon Sect is filled with beautifully polished ice blocks and many interesting buildings, no less impressive than other sects, and with an added exotic flair. Behind them, on the mountain, was an ice well. The people of the Icefield Demon Sect surrounded it, their faces filled with fear as they watched the moon angel slowly approach. They were too frightened to speak. Even though the moon angel had a stunning figure, walked with a swaying gait, and had a cold and beautiful face, exuding an aura that kept strangers at bay, making them drool with envy, they still didn't dare to look at her for long. This is a ruthless demon who kills without hesitation. "Master, this is that guy's grave." The moon angel stopped and said respectfully. The people of the Icefield Demon Sect looked on in astonishment. Even such a powerful moon angel called him master, so how terrifying must this person be? Which part of chapter 145 has a problem? Part 7. Xiandao walked slowly over and looked at Bing Jing amidst the terrified gazes of the Icefield Demon sect disciples. This is her grave. Xiandao frowned and looked around. This was the world of extreme ice, cold and perpetually frozen. Stepping on it felt incredibly hard, just like stepping on a sheet of iron. Moon Angel nodded and said, "The leader of the Icefield Demon sect buried her here 50 years ago." "Where is the body?" Xiandao asked, looking at the bottomless ice well. The Moon Angel reached out and inhaled, and a dense stream of moonlight erupted, surging into the ice well. Click, click, click. A small, exquisite coffin slowly floated up. This is an ice coffin, transparent in color, so you can clearly see the person lying inside. A woman. A very beautiful woman. Her beauty was like that of a girl next door, pure and innocent. Even in death, lying in an ice coffin, she had a slight smile on her face, truly like she was asleep. Xiandao took out the contract, and the signature on it slowly glowed, proving that it was indeed signed by this woman. "It's her." Xiandao frowned, but he couldn't sense the slightest bit of life in this woman. He's not breathing. There's no heartbeat. There was no spiritual activity either. She was a corpse. Thump. The ice coffin was placed on the ice, and a dull sound echoed, because the ice coffin was made of millennia-old ice, which was very dense and heavy. The Moon Angel immediately opened the coffin, exposing the woman to the sunlight. His skin felt cold, and upon closer inspection, it was clear that his body was stiff, and his smile appeared somewhat unnatural. These are all symbols of death. A symbol of something that has been frozen for a long time. Monk Tianxin said, "Master, she is dead." Xiandao remained silent, watching intently, and even used a wisp of sword energy to shoot into the other's body. Blocked meridians, withered dantian, dried up sea of consciousness, all these are symptoms of death. But if she dies, why isn't the contract with Tiendi Money House void? Upon entering the desolate ancient land, many of the contracts with the Heaven and Earth Bank were voided, all of which were voided only after the host's death was detected. Of all those that were discarded, why was this one overlooked? Xiandao and Xiao Qi communicated. "Did you see that?" Xiao Qi guessed. "This person is dead, but the contract is not void, so the twists and turns are quite interesting." Xiandao nodded. It was quite interesting. Someone was trying to use tricks to completely deceive the Heaven and Earth Bank. Xiandao asked, "Who is the leader of the Icefield Demon sect?" A middle-aged man at the early stage of a great sage was brought over, looking at Xiandao with a terrified expression. Especially with the cold-blooded god of slaughter, Moon Angel, watching from the side, he panicked even more. After all, the Moon Angel had just wreaked havoc in the Icefield Demon Gate and established its reputation. "I am the leader of the Icefield Demonic Sect," the leader said tremblingly. "Who is this woman to you?" Xiandao asked. "Her name is Bai. She is a grand elder of our Icefield Demonic Sect, a Dao Saint Realm cultivator. She is very old and is at the level of my ancestor," the sect leader replied. "What was unusual about her death 50 years ago?" Xiandao asked, his hands behind his back. "There's nothing unusual. Our ancestor is old. Although she looks very young, we all know that her time is almost up," the sect leader replied immediately. Seeing how quickly he answered, Xiandao said indifferently, "You need to think this through. Your every word and action represents the life and death of the Icefield Demon sect. Think carefully about what happened before and after her death that you should be talking about." The leader of the Icefield Demon sect trembled in fright. He certainly didn't want the Icefield Demon sect to be completely destroyed because of this. "I've thought of a detail," the sect leader said excitedly after deep thought. Xiandao said indifferently, "Speak." When the patriarch was about to die, he summoned several high-ranking elders of the Icefield Demon sect, as well as me, who had just succeeded to the throne, to give instructions on his final affairs. The sect leader said, "What are the funeral arrangements?" Xiandao asked with interest. He didn't look at the sect leader, but stared at the woman in the ice coffin. This woman is named Qiu Bai. She is over 10,000 years old and still looks like a young girl. Not only does she have the appearance of a young girl, but she also retains the temperament of a young girl. When Li Xiandao first saw her, he thought of her as the girl next door. This is an incredible skill. Because the body reaches its limit and weakens rapidly, everything declines and can no longer maintain its peak condition. Not to mention the most beautiful season of flowers and rain. Our patriarch told us that after her death, he would use the millennia-old ice from beneath the Arctic ice plains to forge a coffin for her, place her inside, and then dig an ice well deep into the heart of the ice, so that her body would remain forever, never to decay, the sect leader said. Li Xiandao frowned. Never to decay? Is your ancestor very fond of beauty? Li Xiandao asked. We didn't notice it on ordinary days, but we did as she said. After all, she was a Dao saint, a great master of our Ice Plains demonic sect. It's understandable that she wanted to preserve her most beautiful appearance after her passing. We followed her instructions and did everything we asked. 50 years have passed since then, the sect leader replied. Nothing unusual has happened in these 50 years? Li Xiandao asked again. No, we've been doing very well. If you hadn't come, our patriarch would have remained buried underground forever, the sect leader said, shaking his head. Did your ancestor leave anything behind when he died? Li Xiandao asked the sect leader with a deep look in his eyes. No, when the patriarch died, he was all alone. His female disciples helped him change into new clothes. He had already melted down his magical artifacts. In his own words, he didn't want anyone to touch the things he had used. He found them disgusting. The sect leader answered without hesitation. Li Xiandao noticed that he showed no emotional fluctuation whatsoever. His answer was genuine and not a lie. You mean your patriarch Qiu Bai has a cleanliness obsession? Li Xiandao asked, a thought flashing through his mind. Yes, that's why she didn't want to be buried in the ground, nor did she want a conventional burial. She chose the location herself. The sect leader nodded. All right, since that's the case, we'll take this corpse with us. The Icefield Demon sect is safe now. Let's pretend we were never here. Li Xiandao looked at the sect leader with a very indifferent and emotionless gaze, which startled the sect leader, who hurriedly nodded. No problem, we are willing to cooperate with you. The sect leader decisively abandoned the patriarch's corpse. Moon Angel, take the coffin and let's leave. Li Xiandao turned and walked away. Monk Tianxin immediately followed and whispered, Master, what exactly happened? The person is dead, but the contract is still valid. That means there's definitely something wrong with either of them, Li Xiandao said quickly. Which one do you think is the problem? Li Xiandao asked Monk Tianxin. Monk Tianxin was stunned. How could he answer that question? There's definitely something wrong with the person. Moon Angel said decisively from the side. That's right, the contract was prepared by Shao Qi, there can't be any problems. Li Xiandao nodded in agreement. Monk Tianxin suddenly realized that this was how to answer, and he secretly gave the Moon Angel a thumbs up. Chapter 146 Soul Guessing, Part 1. Li Xiandao returned to the Heaven and Earth money shop with Qiu Bai's body. Lucifer and the other two also returned, looking at Li Xiandao, wanting to know what the reason was. Inside the trading hall, Li Xiandao put down the ice coffin and watched silently. Shao Qi carefully examined the body and discovered that Qiu Bai was indeed a corpse. This made her frown, her delicate face full of seriousness, with a hint of suspicion that something was wrong with Tiandi Qianzhuang. Could it be that the Heaven and Earth Bank has been sealed for too long, causing it to malfunction? But Shao Qi quickly dismissed the idea, because Tiandi Qianzhuang couldn't possibly have problems. Even if there are problems, they shouldn't have surfaced in this desolate place. Shao Qi looked at Li Xiandao, hesitated for a moment, and then asked, Master, what clues have you noticed? The other three also looked at Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao was well versed in books. He had read almost all the books in the Universal Library, and had a wealth of knowledge in his mind. In such situations, he was the calmest person. Little 7, when Xiaobai came to the Heaven and Earth Bank, he used his soul fire to exchange for 10 human immortal pills, and promised that everything he owned after his death would belong to the Heaven and Earth Bank, including his soul, right? Li Xiandao asked. Xiao Qi nodded, looking at Li Xiandao with a puzzled expression. Could this prove that Xiaobai was not dead? Li Xiandao looked at the ice coffin and said, "Go and take out Xiaobai's soul fire." Xiao Qi agreed. Although the Heaven and Earth Bank no longer has most of its treasures, things like the soul fire were not sealed away and are stored in the warehouse. I'll go get them. Many of Tiandi Qianzhuang's assets were used to pay off debts, but some things were left behind. What can be used to pay off debts must be the most valuable, while what is left behind may not be worthless, but it certainly is not as precious as what was used to pay off debts. That's what the fire of the soul is like. In special times, the fire of the soul is incredibly precious, especially the fire of a holy soul, which is priceless. But only in special circumstances. Xiao Qi quickly brought out a jade bottle, which was transparent. Inside the bottle was a soul flame that looked like a lotus flower. This is a snow lotus. Crystal clear, it resembles a lotus flower blooming atop a snow-capped mountain. Incomparably beautiful. This soul fire is so peculiar, Monk Tianxin exclaimed in surprise. Indeed, I have not seen many soul flames so crystalline, Lucifer nodded. As pure and bright as the moonlight, this must be a snow lotus. The moon angel looked on in surprise. The fact that a single flame was mistaken for a snow lotus speaks volumes about the problem. This is the finest soul fire. No wonder she was able to exchange 10 immortal pills. In a rare move, Li Xiandao praised his predecessor for doing a good job with this contract. Xiaoqi muttered to herself, I was the one who signed this contract. Li Xiandao looked at Xiao Qi in surprise. Would the former master ever delegate authority to you like this? Xiao Qi explained. That time he went to the immortal realm to drink, indulging in the finest wines and delicacies, and fell into a deep sleep. When guests came to visit, I had no choice but to receive them and sign this contract. Afterwards, he even scolded me. Xiaoqi felt very aggrieved when this was mentioned. Li Xiandao nodded, extinguishing the slight approval he had just felt for his ex. Indeed, one should not have any expectations of him. Now that we have the soul flame, what should we do? Xiaoqi asked, looking at Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao took out the snow lotus-like soul fire, placed it in his palm, and said, If she is dead, then the soul fire should change. Now I will take out the soul fire and put it into her body. I want to see if she can be revived. This method is worth a try, but the chances are slim. Xiao Qi had no hope. She had thought of this method as well, but the reaction between the soul fire and the corpse was usually not very strong. It's all right, I'm here. Li Xiandao smiled slightly at Xiao Qi and said firmly. Xiao Qi didn't know why, but suddenly felt a warmth in her heart. She realized that she seemed to have been unintentionally flirted with by Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao walked to the ice coffin, slowly lowered the soul fire, and said, In the Library of All Nations, there is a book about the analysis of the soul. It's not a cultivation technique, but I think it's very good. Next time you have the chance to go in, I recommend you read it. Monk Tianxin, Lucifer, Ursula, and even Xiaoqi all looked at Li Xiandao and listened quietly. That book is called The Origin of the Soul. It was written by a great master of the soul from ancient times. It is full of explorations about the soul and can be called an encyclopedia of the soul. It is very precious. I am glad that the Universal Library has such a book. Li Xiandao praised the book The Origin of the Soul highly. He had read so many books in the Universal Library, but few left a lasting impression on him. The Origin of the Soul was one of them. Lucifer, Monk Tianxin, Ursula, and even Xiaoqi all wrote down the name of this book, and they definitely want to find it and read it when they have the chance. The author of this book is the ancient and powerful Soul Venerable. His cultivation level may not have been particularly strong at the time, but in the realm of the soul, he transcends time and space, and no one can rival him. Li Xiandao said as he watched the snow lotus-like soul fire slowly seep into Qiu Bai's body. Since it will take some time for the soul fire to seep into the corpse, Li Xiandao might as well answer their questions and act as a teacher who imparts knowledge and resolves doubts. Li Xiandao, Teacher Li is online. Qiu Bai obtained 10 immortal pills. Given her talent, she shouldn't have died, Li Xiandao said, his hands behind his back. The human immortal pill contains a wisp of the Daoist essence of a human immortal. Although it is only a wisp, it is comparable to the ocean for a Dao saint. With slow and careful comprehension, it is easy to break through the Hengsha realm, Xiaoqi said. That's right. One human immortal pill is like a vast ocean, allowing Qiu Bai to swim freely within it. She has 10. Even a pig could break through to the Hengsha realm and wouldn't die, Li Xiandao said firmly. This was also what he initially found strange. Holding 10 immortal pills is like having 10 boundless oceans, each brimming with countless treasures. And then you tell me you haven't grasped their secrets, haven't explored them, and have simply died alone on the shore. Li Xiandao couldn't believe there could be such a fool. Unless she has something she can't say about it. This explains why Qiu Bai wanted to exchange for the immortal pill. She wanted to risk her life and use the immortal pill to break through her own limits. But she still failed. Finally, she placed her body deep within the ice, where it would never decay. Then why is that? Xiaoqi asked curiously. She had never seen anything so bizarre. Li Xiandao's eyes flashed with a strange light. If it weren't for his prophetic talent, he wouldn't have been able to guess these clues. Now, based on these clues, Li Xiandao began to follow the trail. Perhaps she is not dead. No, it should be that she died, but she had other bodies. More likely, she's just an insignificant clone, Li Xiandao guessed, offering an interesting explanation. Chapter 147 The Soul Returns. Part 2. Xiaoqi asked Li Xian, "Are you saying she's just an avatar?" Monk Tianxin and the others looked at Li Xiandao, and then at Qiu Bai lying in the ice coffin. Did this look like a clone? That's right, very likely. Li Xiandao nodded. When I signed the contract, I made sure she was an independent person. Xiaoqi remembered very clearly that she had confirmed Qiu Bai's identity before signing the contract. Li Xiandao smiled slightly and said, "In this world, clones are not just emotionless tools. On the contrary, some clones are completely different from the original body, with different thoughts, different mindsets, different memories, and even want to replace it or go independent and be unrestrained." Xiaoqi looked at Qiu Bai in surprise and said, "You mean she wants 10 human immortal pills because she wants to break away from the original body?" Li Xiandao nodded, looking at Qiu Bai with a thoughtful expression. The soul fire, like a snow lotus, was slowly seeping into the corpse. The snow-white light illuminated the body, and Qiu Bai's originally stiff body began to relax. Only at this moment did her smile appear so beautiful. Youthful. Beautiful. Moreover, the sect leader also said that Qiu Bai remained a young girl until the moment of her death, never aging, which is quite incredible. Since she was someone else's clone, why did she die? Lucifer asked curiously. If it were him, he wouldn't let his clone die naturally. Even if a clone dies in battle, it's better than dying of old age. Li Xiandao circled the coffin once and asked, "Why do you think that the master can definitely control the thoughts and actions of the clone?" Lucifer was speechless. After thinking about it carefully, it seemed to be true. If Qiu Bai can be controlled, then she won't be able to come to the Heaven and Earth Bank, sign the contract, or take away those 10 immortal pills. Teacher Li gave Lucifer a good lesson. But she hasn't completely gotten rid of him, which is why she needs the human immortal pill to completely rid herself of him. But now it seems she has failed. Li Xiandao looked at Qiu Bai and said regretfully. The others watched with considerable regret, but as Li Xiandao explained, things became much clearer. "Do you understand now?" Teacher Li asked. "I understand." Everyone nodded. Their doubts suddenly cleared up. The contract between Tiandi Qianzhuang is correct. Qiu Bai is not dead, so the contract cannot be voided. But the Moon Angel's investigation was correct. Qiu Bai was dead, so they wouldn't receive the benefits stipulated in the contract. This is not contradictory, because Qiu Bai is an avatar. Even if she dies, as long as the original body does not perish, her contract will still exist. Perhaps Qiu Bai can still be saved, Xiandao said with a determined look in his eyes. What? Xiao Qi looked at Xiandao in surprise. He's been dead for 50 years, Monk Tianxin reminded Xian. The bodies are stiff, Lucifer added. Even their souls are gone, Ursula interjected. Xiandao watched as the soul fire gradually merged into Qiu Bai's body and said, "So what if I've been dead for 50 years? Her body is lifelike and very well preserved," Xiandao replied. Monk Tianxin remained silent. The corpse was stiff, but now it's gone soft, isn't it? Xiandao pointed. Lucifer looked at Qiu Bai and said nothing more. As for her soul being gone, this soul fire is her hope for resurrection, Xiandao said confidently. Ursula looked at Xiandao, wanting to see what method this master had to revive Qiu Bai. Xiandao's time as a teacher was over. He then focused intently on Qiu Bai. At the moment the soul fire completely merged, he reached out and clapped his hands, sending a surge of true energy into the body. Rumble. Xiandao's attack violently broke through all of Qiu Bai's meridians and dantian. 8 directions pulling technique. Xiandao used a technique he had learned from the origin of the soul to guide Qiu Bai's soul. May your soul return. May your soul return. May your soul return. Xiandao's voice was long and desolate as he called out. His expression was solemn, and from his body burst forth strands of incomparably dazzling light, all of which were the summoning soul energy of the 8 directions guiding technique. The ancient land was round with a flat earth, capable of preserving all things. After 50 years, Xiandao didn't know how much of Qiu Bai's soul could be preserved, but even a little bit would be enough to awaken Qiu Bai. You're only a Dao saint, yet you possess such a powerful soul fire. This is your biggest weakness. Your soul fire contains a trace of my true self, so you cannot die. Xiandao's eyes were resolute. He was determined to revive Qiu Bai. If Qiu Bai is resurrected, we can find out who her master is. Xiandao was very eager to know which master could create such a distinctive clone. Knock knock knock. Throughout the entire trading hall, a low rumble of thunder filled the air, and countless strange things crawled in from the outside, drawn by the 8 directions attraction technique. Roll. Xiandao frowned. He hadn't expected all these demons and monsters to come together. He had opened the Heaven and Earth Bank to attract Qiu Bai's soul, but with these fierce and malevolent ghosts pouring in, Xiandao was far from pleased. Moreover, their arrival made the Heaven and Earth Bank so crowded that Qiu Bai's soul could no longer enter. Clang. With a cold shout from Xiandao, an extremely sharp sword beam slashed through the surroundings and struck down fiercely. Rumble. One sword can wipe out a horde of demons. These ferocious ghosts screamed incessantly, but under Xiandao's sharp sword energy, they were all reduced to ashes. The trading hall of Tiandi Money Exchange suddenly fell silent. Just then, several illusory figures drifted in. The fleeting ethereal figure, almost dissipating, without consciousness or physical form, was drawn into this place by the 8 directions pulling technique. Xiandao's eyes flashed with surprise, and he said, "Return to your positions." This was Qiu Bai's soul, which shared the same origin as the soul fire. Xiandao immediately injected them into Qiu Bai's corpse. Then many more small fragment-like souls flew in, entered the Heaven and Earth Bank, and were injected into Qiu Bai's body. This continued for a day and a night. The Qiu Bai soul that had been gathered was enough to piece together half of the soul, so Xiandao directly sealed off the Heaven and Earth Bank. "Wake up!" Xiandao slapped down, and the fire of his soul burst forth with an incomparably blazing flame of life, burning fiercely and dispelling the death energy within Qiu Bai's body. Qiu Bai's vitality slowly emerged. Xiandao let out a long sigh, slowly stepped back, put his hands behind his back, straightened his back, and his masked face showed no expression, but from his eyes, It was clear that Li Xiandao was very satisfied with his actions. Xiao Qi walked to Li Xiandao's side and asked in a low voice, "Are you tired?" Li Xiandao looked at Xiao Qi in surprise. "What's the meaning? Shall I give you a massage?" Xiao Qi suggested. "There are people here," Li Xiandao replied. "Oh, never mind then." Xiao Qi started walking away. "When no one's around, give me a massage," Li Xiandao said telepathically, reaching out and grabbing Xiao Qi's ponytail to pull her back. Xiao Qi blushed. Chapter 148 Remote Battle, Part 3. Li Xiandao and Xiao Qi stood together, looking at the ice coffin. Inside, Qiu Bai's complexion had become rosy and healthy, and she looked no different from a normal person. She still had her eyes closed, but her breathing began to become even. The monk Tianxin, Lucifer, and Ursula were all watching, wanting to see how someone who had been dead for 50 years could be resurrected. Qiu Bai lay in the ice coffin, her hands resting on her lower abdomen, her chest rising and falling, clearly indicating that she was recovering. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. Suddenly, snow lotus flower symbols appeared on Qiu Bai's body, each about the size of a thumb and clearly visible on his skin. "What is this?" Xiao Qi looked at Li Xiandao in confusion, thinking that this was a normal process. The three monks, including Tianxin, also looked at Li Xiandao, as they didn't understand what had happened. Li Xiandao's expression changed. He had a bad feeling that something was wrong. "Someone is causing trouble," Li Xiandao said coldly, taking a step forward and forming a hand seal. A dazzling sword seal appeared and fiercely suppressed the attack. "How dare you act so presumptuously in my presence?" Li Xiandao coldly retorted. Clang! The sword imprint revealed its sharpness, directly suppressing Qiu Bai's dantian, and thousands of sword energies surged into Qiu Bai's body. Qiu Bai's body trembled violently, bursting forth with a terrifying light, extremely bright and crystalline, the color of a snow lotus. Knock knock knock. Within Qiu Bai's body, sword energy and snow lotus intertwined, beginning to unleash terrifying energy. "Who dares to plot against my clone?" A furious shout echoed across mountains and seas, across the sun and moon, across the world. Li Xiandao's expression remained unchanged. He had already guessed that the only person who could cause such a huge fluctuation within Qiu Bai's body could be her true self. "Who are you?" Li Xiandao was also speaking to this place across mountains and seas, across the sun and moon, across the world. "Who am I, immortal, is not a question you can ask." This furious voice was full of arrogance and disdain, treating Li Xiandao as a lowly commoner. Li Xiandao's face turned cold. This person was really arrogant. "You dare to attack my clone? You're courting death. Today I'll show you what it means for a fairy to be so angry that the heavens and earth can be turned upside down." The voice became sharp, clearly indicating that her plan to control Qiu Bai with the snow lotus was suppressed by Li Xiandao's sword seal, and she was furious, so she attacked directly. Across mountains and seas, across the sun and moon, across the world, a single strand of black hair pierces through, incredibly fierce, capable of killing a person in an instant. Rumble. This attack came from another world, traversing countless distances and spaces, and arrived at the heaven and earth bank and in front of Li Xiandao in just 3 seconds. Bang! Upon seeing Li Xiandao, the strand of black hair transformed into a terrifying sharp light, piercing fiercely into Li Xiandao's body. The strand of black hair pierced right through Li Xiandao's body. "Now you know the consequences of meddling in other people's business, right?" The aloof fairy said coldly, not taking Li Xiandao seriously. Li Xiandao's body was pierced in just 3 or 4 seconds. The key point is that these few seconds came from a distant world, and by the time they reached Li Xiandao, there was not even a second left. With his current cultivation level, it would be somewhat difficult for him to resist. Li Xiandao at this moment is far from being a match for so-called immortals. But this is the Heaven and Earth Bank. In the Heaven and Earth Bank, Li Xiandao is a god. With his body pierced, Li Xiandao could only look down at his chest, where a bloody hole appeared and blood was flowing continuously. Li Xiandao said expressionlessly, It hurts a bit more than being stabbed with a sword. It only hurts a little. Li Xiandao's face turned cold. Anyone would be annoyed to have their body pierced for no reason. High and mighty fairy, I can't do anything to you right now, but I'm determined to have this clone of you. Li Xiandao snorted coldly, raised one hand to the sky, and pressed down with the other. Rumble. Li Xiandao has taken advantage of the power of the heavenly bank. He directly blocked her senses, depriving her of the opportunity to sense Qiu Bai. Damn it! In an unknown space, a sleeping fairy awoke, her beautiful face filled with fury. How dare you, a lowly commoner from the lower realm, detain my avatar? The fairy was furious and threw a powerful punch, aiming to kill Li Xiandao across endless space and time. But she had lost Li Xiandao, Tiandi Chenjuang, and Qiu Bai's whereabouts, so she could only follow the route in her memory and throw a punch. Rumble. In the desolate land on the black soil, an area spanning thousands of miles was completely destroyed. A single punch was terrifying. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Li Xiandao and his group watched silently. Fortunately, the Heaven and Earth Bank has no physical form. If it did, being hit like that would be incredibly frustrating even if it didn't get hurt. This woman is very powerful, Monk Tianxin said seriously. The realm of human immortals. Lucifer blurted out. He couldn't sense it now, but the Lucifer of the past, with his vast experience and knowledge, would naturally know it. Master, she dares to humiliate you like this, which is to humiliate me. I will definitely kill her for you and let her know your might, said the moon angel Ursula firmly. The monk Tianxin and Lucifer both looked at the moon angel Ursula with surprise in their eyes. I never expected that you, who are usually so cold and aloof, would be so good at expressing loyalty and flattering us. Monk Tianxin couldn't help but give the moon angel a thumbs up. This was the second time she had been impressed by the moon angel's wit. Li Xiandao laughed and said, "All right, I'll wait for you to avenge me. But don't worry, she can't find us right now. Let's revive Qiu Bai first, and then find out who she is." To dare to be so presumptuous. It seems you're tired of living. Li Xiandao's eyes were very cold, very cold. Shao Qi pointed at Qiu Bai and asked, "Is she waking up?" Li Xiandao walked over and saw that Qiu Bai was covered in snow lotus flowers. He reached out and pressed down, and rolling sword energy surged down. The snow lotus slowly faded and disappeared. Qiu Bai slowly opened her eyes and looked at Li Xian in disbelief, saying, "Is this hell?" "This place is far more dangerous than hell," Li Xiandao said seriously. Qiu Bai looked around in a daze, and slowly came to his senses. "Here. I'm not dead. It's unbelievable." Qiu Bai looked at Li Xian in surprise. "With me here you won't die," Li Xiandao said confidently, his hands behind his back. Thump. Qiu Bai immediately knelt down before Li Xiandao, kowtowed once to the ground, and said excitedly, "Thank you for saving my life, sir." Li Xiandao waved his hand and said, "I'm not saving you, I'm saving what belongs to me." Qiu Bai looked at Li Xiandao with a puzzled expression, not understanding what he meant. "Does this place look familiar?" Li Xiandao asked. Qiu Bai finally got a good look around, and some long-forgotten memories began to slowly resurface. Having been dead for 50 years, her memory was somewhat impaired, and she couldn't remember much, but it's gradually returning. When she saw the stunningly beautiful Shao Qi, she was immediately taken aback, covering her mouth with her hand in surprise and disbelief, exclaiming, "Is this the Heaven and Earth Bank?" Chapter 149 Human Immortals, Part 4. How could Qiu Bai forget the Heaven and Earth Bank? This is the biggest secret etched in her memory. To prevent the original owner from finding out, she deliberately sealed the memory, so that only she could view it. Heaven and Earth Bank. Little 7 fairies. These are all unforgettable memories. Anyone who has met Xiaoqi once will never forget her, because Xiaoqi is such a perfect woman. A woman that every woman envies. Qiu Bai looked at Xiaoqi with excitement, recalling the scene of signing the contract with him more than 10,000 years ago. At that moment, she wondered, how could there be such an amazing fairy in the world? More than 10,000 years later, when Bai met Xiao Qi again, he had already died once. How did I end up at Tiandi Money Exchange? Bai asked, confused. She died before, and her memory is still unclear. She knows nothing about what happened during those 50 years. What is your last memory? Xiao Qi asked. Bai thought carefully for a moment and said, the last memory? I'm going to be taken back. I've developed my own thoughts, and I want to get rid of her, so she's angry and wants to take me back. Bai sat on the ground, closed his eyes, and silently recalled. Xiandao and the others watched her silently from a distance of several meters. I disagree. I have the human immortal pill. I can stop her. I would rather die than submit. I fought her 10 times and took 10 human immortal pills, but unfortunately, I still failed. She is too powerful. I am no match for her, Bai said bitterly. More than 10,000 years ago, she exchanged everything for 10 immortal pills. She did not consume them indiscriminately, but continued to accumulate her own power, doing the work of an avatar, so that the original body would not discover that she had her own soul. In the end, she was discovered. The true self was furious, especially when she realized that Bai was preparing to break away from her. She was so angry that she immediately prepared to destroy Bai. But Bai was no pushover either. With 10 immortal pills in hand, she managed to withstand her master's attacks 10 times. In these 10 attempts, she was able to break through the Hengsha realm several times, even taking big strides forward, just by stepping over it. But the main body held her back, refusing to let her break through. Finally, the immortal pill ran out, and Bai chose to give up on herself. Her time was up. 450 years after her death, Bai's owner truly believed she was dead and stopped pursuing the matter. However, just now, Bai was saved by Xiandao. The master noticed this and cast a spell from a distance to make Bai die completely. Fortunately, Xiandao intervened, saving Bai from death. The price was that Xiandao's chest was pierced. Xiandao reached out and wiped his chest, which was instantly unharmed. In the Heaven and Earth Bank, no one could kill him. Bai, do you still remember the contract signed 10,000 years ago? Xiandao asked in a deep voice. Bai nodded. She remembered now. What consequences will be incurred for breaching the contract? Xiandao continued to ask. My soul, everything I am, belongs to the Heaven and Earth Bank, Bai said, carefully recalling the contract. As she said this, Bai's eyes were shining. She was excited, without any resentment or pain. At that moment, Bai understood the meaning behind Xiandao's previous words. I'm not saving you, I'm saving what belongs to me. It turned out that she no longer belonged to herself, but to the Heaven and Earth Bank and the mysterious masked man in front of her. At this moment, Bai felt no aversion whatsoever, but rather a great sense of security, especially upon seeing Xiandao's tall and imposing figure. So, are you willing to abide by the contract now? Xiandao continued to ask. Without saying a word, Bai knelt down in front of Xiandao and respectfully said, Bai greets master. Xiandao nodded in satisfaction. With Bai, Xiandao would have many ways to deal with that high and mighty immortal. Get up, Xiandao said calmly. Bai respectfully kowtowed 3 times to Xiandao. She expressed her gratitude. After all, it was Xiandao who saved her life. Whatever master wants to ask, Bai will answer without hesitation. Bai stood up, knowing that Xiandao definitely wanted to know information about her true form. Tell me about your true form, Xiandao asked. Her name is Lingren. She is ranked among the top in the 10 realms. Her whereabouts are unpredictable. She is a great master of the human immortal realm, Bai said in detail. Xiandao is listening. Xiao Qi is watching. Monk Tianxin and the others were also listening. She has a very domineering personality. She has been using clones to accumulate cultivation experience. She is also the patriarch of a powerful family in the 10 lands, so she is not easy to mess with, Xiaobai said. Li Xiandao said coldly, I can see that you came from 10 lands away to kill me over a mere disagreement. Xiaobai was startled and asked with concern, Master, are you all right? If there were a loyalty rating system, with a maximum of 100, and Xiaobai were tested, his loyalty would immediately spike to 100. Her mind is now completely occupied by Li Xiandao and Tiandi Chenzhuang. Alone, since awakening her spiritual awareness, she had no friends to confide in, no one to help her, and her only hope was the Heavenly Bank. 10,000 years ago, it was the Heaven and Earth Bank that helped her. 10,000 years later, the Heaven and Earth Bank saved her again. Xiaobai is a person who lacks a sense of security. Now that Li Xiandao can give her a sense of security, she would not hesitate to die for Li Xiandao. I'm fine, please continue. Li Xiandao waved his hand, quite satisfied with Xiaobai. A stunningly beautiful woman with a voluptuous figure asks you with great concern if you are all right. More importantly, this beautiful woman is one of his own. If Li Xiandao gives her a hint, she will immediately take off her clothes to serve him. Brush. Xiao Qi glared at him coldly, her gaze chilling to the bone. Li Xiandao coughed, took a step back in a very gentlemanly manner, and asked in a serious tone of voice, What's wrong with your eyes? Xiao Qi, without looking to the side, hummed and said, I'm not going to give you a massage later. Li Xiandao said discontentedly, How can you go back on your word? Have you no credibility? I'm sorry, I'm a woman. Xiao Qi said coldly. Li Xiandao looked at Xiao Qi, and Xiao Qi looked at Xiaobai with a serious expression, listening to Xiaobai recount the story about Ren. Li Xiandao sighed. He would have to coax her again. He cleared his mind of all distractions and began to focus on this troublesome matter. How dare they lay a hand on him? They're asking for trouble. Do you really think that just because you're on one of the highest levels of the 10 realms, you can do whatever you want? Xiaobai continued, Renling's family is very powerful and influential, so Renling used the family's power to cultivate to the human immortal realm at a young age. So young. Li Xiandao scoffed. How young? Renren is only a little over 10,000 years old this year, which is considered young among the ancestors of the major powers in the 10 regions, Xiaobai immediately said. A mere immortal at the age of over 10,000 years dares to be so presumptuous in front of me. Li Xiandao's eyes turned slightly cold. Master, give me some time, I can go and kill this scoundrel, the moon angel Ursula immediately said. Monk Tianxin and Lucifer opened their mouths, about to speak, but the moon angel beat them to it. Chapter 150 Coming from Another World. Part 5. Do you know where this is? Li Xiandao asked the 3 moon angels. We don't need to know where she is, we just need to know her family. We'll go directly to her home, Moon Angel said calmly. Renling comes from an immortal family and resides in the Eternal Land. She herself travels around and has temples everywhere. I don't know where she has gone now, Xiaobai said. Eternally, Li Xiandao murmured, his eyes shining brightly. It's decided. In the next world, we'll go to the Eternal Land. This man must be killed, Li Xiandao said coldly. Okay. Xiao Qi nodded in agreement, clearly annoyed by this. They actually dared to attack the Heaven and Earth Bank across the world, and even injured Li Xiandao. Although Li Xiandao is inside the Heaven and Earth Money House and will not be seriously injured, he will still experience pain. Xiaobai hesitated and said, Master, she is very powerful, and her immortal family is even more powerful. It's all right, you'll find out when the time comes that our Heaven and Earth Bank is actually much stronger. Li Xiandao smiled confidently, thinking, so what if I'm a human immortal? The human immortal, also known as the false immortal, is more powerful than he is now, but Li Xiandao is not afraid of him. Once I've been to the Inheritance Hall a few more times and discussed the Tao with others, reaching the human immortal realm won't be a problem, Li Xiandao said confidently, never afraid. You should all go and rest. Xiaobai, go and rest too. The higher your cultivation level, the happier I am, so I won't have to take action, Li Xiandao said calmly. Master, I will try my best, Xiaobai said firmly. Li Xiandao smiled and watched her leave, along with Yu Tianxia and a few others. After everyone had left, Li Xiandao immediately said, "Xiaoqi, give me a massage." "No way," Xiaoqi grumbled, refusing to agree. Seeing this, Li Xiandao sighed. "My heart was just pierced, it hurts a lot." Xiaoqi's expression changed, realizing that Li Xiandao was faking it, but she still glanced at him. Li Xiandao continued, "Little Qi, I've been working day and night for the sake of Qiandi Chenzhuang and for you, and my back really aches. You're doing this for the Heaven and Earth Bank, so what do you mean you're doing this for me?" Xiaoqi reminded Li Xiandao not to speak carelessly. "In this Heaven and Earth Bank, the most precious thing is you. I'm doing this for the Heaven and Earth Bank because of you," Li Xiandao said emphatically. Xiaoqi looked at Li Xian with disdain and said, "I don't know how many girls you've said that to." Despite saying that, she still came over and let Li Xiandao lie down on the bed. Li Xiandao was secretly delighted. Women really are all hypocrites. She was still going to give him a massage. "I've only ever said this to you, and I won't say it to any other woman in the future," Li Xiandao said firmly. "I'd be a fool to believe you," Xiaoqi said coldly, giving Li Xiandao a stiff massage on his back. Hearing the coldness in Xiaoqi's words, Li Xiandao sighed helplessly. She was hard to coax. However, Li Xiandao was still quite satisfied with the stiff massage on his back. Although it was quite painful and uncomfortable, it also proved that it was Xiaoqi's first time. Having given himself his first time, how could Li Xiandao not be satisfied? What Li Xiandao didn't see was that Xiaoqi's face was flushed when she spoke those cold words, a stark contrast to her tone. "She is more beautiful than the flowers." At this moment, Xiaoqi is breathtakingly beautiful. Unfortunately, Li Xiandao didn't see it. He comfortably closed his eyes as Xiaoqi massaged him. Eternally, countless suspended palaces stand in the clouds. This is the family of immortals. One of the elders of this family was none other than the one who had just attacked Li Xiandao. Damn it, how dare they? Even lowly cultivators from the lower realm dare to harbor such wicked thoughts. This enraged the man. She was beautiful, just like Qiubai, but Qiubai gave off the kind of lovely impression of a friendly older sister next door, while she gave off the impression of a mean-spirited older sister-in-law. His face turned ashen. He seemed to have seen through the world, staring at the desolate land with a burning hatred. Her clone actually developed its own consciousness and tried to escape? This is absolutely outrageous. The clone knows many of her secrets. She knows exactly how many men she has slept with, many of whom are married. If she gets out of control, wouldn't that be a major threat? It makes people unable to resist the thought that their stories will become widely known in the future. "Guards!" the messenger roared, standing atop a cloud, his aura menacing. The purple gold warrior pays respects to the ancestor. A warrior clad in purple armor approached and greeted him. The officer scrutinized the purple gold warrior closely and asked, "What kind of cultivation technique do you practice?" "I practice the spear technique of the god of war Zhao Wuji, the invincible path, invincible in all directions," the purple gold armored warrior replied. "The spear technique of war god Zhao Wuji is indeed impressive. Your cultivation level is also at the 18th level of Hengsha. Go and help me to the desolate ancient land to kill 2 people, the man said coldly. "Who?" the purple gold armored warrior asked coldly, killing without asking why. With a flick of his sleeve, Li Xiandao appeared out of thin air, wearing a dark gold mask, along with Qiubai's appearance. "Kill them, grind their bones to dust," he said angrily. Looking at Qiubai, who looked exactly like him but was more innocent, he couldn't help but feel a surge of jealousy. "You are my alter ego. You have no chance of escaping me." The warrior in purple gold armor memorized the appearances of Li Xiandao and Qiubai, and said, "Your subordinate will go to the desolate ancient land now." "Go then. If it weren't for the limitations of the world barrier, I would personally cross the boundary and slay them," he said regretfully. She truly wanted to kill Qiubai and Li Xiandao with her own hands, but the world barrier restricted those with high cultivation levels from entering lower-level worlds. This places one in the realm of immortals, a very high realm that exceeds the tolerance of the desolate ancient land. So she couldn't get in. But the warrior in the purple gold armor could, since he was only at the 18th level of the Hengsha realm, and his cultivation level had not exceeded that limit. Your subordinate will do his utmost to complete the mission. The purple gold armored warrior stood up and quickly flew towards the world-class teleportation array. In a family of immortals like Ran, world-class teleportation arrays are the bare minimum, and they would definitely prepare several. The warriors in purple and gold armor entered the desolate land through a world-class teleportation array. Watching the warrior's departing figure, the anger in his heart finally subsided somewhat. He sneered. Knowing so many secrets, yet daring to break away from me, you're courting death. In the desolate land, Xiandao, having enjoyed Shao Qi's massage, fell asleep after a long time. Shao Qi looked at Xiandao as he slept, her expression gentle, and squatted down to look at him. She didn't say anything. After watching for a while, her face flushed slightly, and then she went to the stall to help Xiandao cover it up. It certainly wasn't because Xiandao caught a cold. At that moment, a warrior clad in purple gold armor arrived at the world-class teleportation array in the desolate ancient land. Boom! The powerful aura of the Hengsha 18-fold immortal instantly permeated the world avenue. At this moment, ordinary people, even Dao saints, could not perceive it, but those at the Hengsha realm could clearly feel it. A peerless master has arrived.